and bearing in mind that it is the first time that Uganda is reaching that level, and they deserve this kind of tribute from the Parliament of Uganda. Honorable members, as the Parliament of Uganda, we want to commend His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the First Lady, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports, for their consistent commitment in promoting sports as a component of our development plan. The President specifically pledged 1.2 billion shillings per win for the boys. And that message was delivered to the boys, and it's going to be fulfilled. I also want to thank you, the Parliament of Uganda, for always appropriating sufficient money to sports. Allow me also appreciate the Federation of Uganda Football Association of Uganda for their stewardship of the game. Because if they were not there, led by Honorable Magogo Moses, MP of Buyende, Budiope East, yes, and Salongo. Because without them, you will not have the team. So, Engineer, thank you so much. And no, thank our family. And I also want to thank, in a special note, all Ugandans. Honorable Minister Gwang, you did a very great job. We want to thank you. And we want to thank Ugandans for encouraging and morale boosting our boys. The boys out there, we are very proud of you. I can see Okello smiling. We are very proud of you. And as Parliament, we will continue supporting sports. And you're very good patriots. And pursuant to Rule 58 of the Rules of Procedure, I want to invite the Minister to move the motion. The Uganda Cranes. Maybe for your information, this is not the only team of Uganda Cranes. Uganda Cranes has a number of teams. This is just the Chan team. We have Semugabi Jude, who is a player. Please stand up and wave. Welcome. Torach Roger.
The African Nation Championship 2024, which Uganda proudly co-hosted alongside Kenya and Tanzania under the successful East African Pamoja bid, was not only a football tournament, but also a landmark achievement for our country across several dimensions. First and foremost, honorable colleagues and right honorable speaker, the Uganda Cranes delivered a historic sporting milestone by advancing to the quarterfinals for the very first time, which I want to ask all of us to clap for them.
This brings a challenge that the moment the Chand competition was finished and we went back to organizing other competitions, we went back to our usual organizations where we use particularly the Uganda Police to be able to provide security. And we have gone back to challenges where fans struggle to access the stadium. I want to use this opportunity to call upon the respective officers to ensure that we need the support for Ugandans to be able to access the stadium and to be able to go and reach home with their property without them being attacked on the way going back home.
They have now understood the type of football that Ugandans want. And that's exactly what they are doing. It's the reason why, right on speaker, fans are going to watch the Uganda Cranes, because they are playing the football that Ugandans want. I want in a special way to thank you, to recognize you, to appreciate you. If you were playing another type of football, I'm telling you, we would not be coming to the pitches.
As a fellow member of a sports fraternity, I want to send a special congratulations to the team. It is a great honor to put on your national jersey and represent your country. It is humbling, it is a privilege. Whether red, yellow, white, blue, green, you are there as a national. And all of us, as Ugandans, appreciate when Uganda succeeds. At least from my point of view, when Uganda is winning, we are winning. When Uganda is showcasing, we are showcasing. All of us.
Speaker, Madam Speaker, allow me also take this opportunity to congratulate our gallant sons, congratulate the organizing committee, both local and CHAN, to congratulate the managers. As you're aware, Madam Speaker, the support you've extended to us as Festoweb has enabled us get players out of the country. They are now in various clubs, and I know the contacts have already been received by our technical teams, and this will be a very big boost.
The rest of the colleagues in paying tribute to the Uganda Crane for the outstanding performance. And Right Honourable Speaker, I used to think that football is for the huge, tall, and giant. But when I saw Uganda Cranes play, I appreciated the people who scouted the talents of these handsome boys that have managed to hold the Uganda flag high.
Right, I want to conclude by raising an issue that these players come from clubs. When we invite them to the national team, where they have grown up, where they have been identified, where they live every day, is within the football clubs in the country. Today, as we speak, club football in Uganda does not have the financial resource required to ensure that these players are fed well, are trained well, sleep well, and get motivated well. What happens is that the countries we compete with on the African continent, this competition like Algeria, Ethiopia, and others, their respective governments are directly funding and supporting these clubs for them to be able to finance and fund these boys so that by the time they come to the competition, they are ready to compete on a leveled ground. We lost some of our key players who would have been part of this team just before the competition because they had to join leagues outside Uganda for them to make a living. And they were joining leagues. For example, Denso Medi went to Rwanda. Denso Uganda also went to Rwanda because the clubs there, supported by the state, are paying much higher than the Ugandan clubs. It is therefore important that before we see these players in the senior national team, and we call them our boys, and we ask where they are sleeping, and we make them ours, we should understand that there is work which is supposed to be done in the clubs, and these clubs are being run by private sector people using their personal resources, many of them, and indeed as a country, if we are to go and compete and qualify even to bigger competitions, we need to support the sector, just like all other private sector players are being supported by government as part of the socio-economic transformation.
You've had the players market the country, and these players come from clubs. That now takes us to our third prayer. Honorable Minister will amend the third prayer that we should be able as government to fund the clubs. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay? The ayes have it. Minister, do you have anything to say?
Madam, in State House where the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports and His Excellency the President called during that time during of the CHAN competition. The President did indicate that he would interest government to look at on how some of these clubs could be supported by government. I thank all of us here as who have agreed. My role and your role is now to support this investment, which the Minister of Education and Sports actually has pledged through the Federation to have a meeting with the clubs. And I'm happy this afternoon, I am going to raise this matter in the dinner, which we will be able to have in Entebbe before the President and the Honorable Minister of Education and so. But Madam Speaker, I have no objection to the amendment of the motion.
And include the...
But what is remaining is also to improve the ecosystem that develops players. And we are lacking in many aspects as far as the ecosystem is concerned. Of course, it includes good accommodation, it includes nutritional feeding, and name it, Madam Speaker. The rest speaks for itself.
We often make a case for the growth, development of sports infrastructure. We want to remind government to do this a lot more. It is important that our young people who are talented get to have a platform, get to have space to grow these talents. That's why we always emphasize these issues. Let's develop infrastructure for sports. That's the only way we shall get to have stars. Across, by the way, whether it be in soccer, sometimes we overemphasize soccer, and that's okay because people love it, but there's other sports disciplines too. Athletics. Can we buttress the lives of these stars, not just at the time they are playing? So it's good they get to be promised when you win 1.2 billion shillings. But can we take care of their welfare even away from that? Because it's a process. By the time they get to where they are to play and win, it's been an entire process. Let's support them through the process and not wait for the final time when they have matches and then they're under pressure. We have got 1.2 billion shillings to win. But previously, you find they probably were struggling to go training because of numerous issues, yeah? So let's support all of that.
Thank you.
And